Have you ever looked at your old report cards and thought, how was I top of the class, but somehow I'm falling behind in life now? Because it's a specific kind of pain. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet and confusing. You're not lazy. You're not wasting potential. You're not broken. But something changed after school, and psychology explains exactly why. 1. School rewards obedience. Life rewards adaptation. In school, the rules were clear. Study this, memorize that, repeat it on a test, get the grade. You didn't need to design your path, you just needed to follow one. And if you were smart, you became really good at one thing, pleasing the system. That's not an insult, that was survival. But real life doesn't hand you a syllabus. No teacher tells you what to learn next. No bell tells you when to start. No exam tells you you're improving. So your brain, trained for external structure, keeps waiting for instructions. Psychology calls this external validation conditioning. When your motivation comes mostly from deadlines, grades, praise, and approval, you can feel empty when no one is watching. And suddenly, the smart kid skill set doesn't transfer. Because life doesn't ask, can you follow the steps? Life asks, can you create the steps? 2. You were praised for being gifted, not for building skills. If you were the smart kid, you probably heard things like, you're naturally talented. You're just good at this. You'll do great in life. Sounds supportive, but it can quietly sabotage you. Because when your identity becomes the gifted one, you start protecting that identity. You avoid situations where you might look average. You avoid learning curves where you might struggle publicly. You avoid new arenas where you might fail publicly. This is tied to a fixed mindset, the belief that intelligence is something you have, not something you grow. In school, you could win by being quick. In life, you win by being consistent. And consistency is boring. It's unglamorous. It doesn't give instant proof that you're special. So you freeze. Not because you can't do it, but because you can't stand the version of you that's not instantly excellent. 3. You became good at thinking, but not at moving. School is heavy on cognition. You analyze, you understand, you write, you solve. But life is heavy on execution. You have to send the email, make the call, post the work, pitch the idea, show up when you feel unready. And here's the trap. Smart people often confuse insight with progress. Your brain learns something and gets a dopamine hit like, we did it. But nothing changed in the real world. So you keep consuming, keep planning, keep researching, and it feels productive until months pass. This is a common loop driven by anxiety and perfectionism. Perfectionism isn't high standards, it's fear dressed as standards. It says, if it can't be impressive, don't do it. And life doesn't reward impressive beginnings. It rewards messy repetition. 4. Your environment used to carry you. Now your emotions run the show. In school, even on bad days, you had momentum. Classes started anyway. Assignments came anyway. Your peers were moving forward anyway. But adult life is different. If you wake up unmotivated, nobody rescues your schedule. If you feel overwhelmed, nobody rearranges your week. If you procrastinate, nobody checks your notebook. So what happens? Your emotions become the steering wheel. And if you never learned emotional regulation, how to act while anxious, how to focus while bored, how to recover from rejection, then your intelligence gets trapped behind your mood. This is where emotional intelligence matters more than IQ. High IQ can solve problems, high EQ can face problems. And life is mostly facing. Facing uncertainty, facing awkwardness, facing, I don't know what I'm doing. If you are always the smart one, you may have rarely practiced being the beginner, and beginners feel uncomfortable. 5. You were trained to win in one narrow arena, then life changed the game. School rewards a specific type of intelligence, pattern recognition, memory, speed, compliance, and writing well under pressure. But life rewards a different set. Social intelligence, risk tolerance, communication, self-trust, networking, resilience, and energy management. So you can be brilliant and still be stuck.
Because being smart isn't a life strategy, it's a tool. And a tool without direction just sits there. This is why two people with the same brain can end up in totally different lives. Not because one is smarter, but because one learned how to tolerate discomfort. They learned how to be seen, how to be rejected, how to be imperfect in public, how to keep going without applause. And the smart kid? They often wait for the old system to return. A teacher, a checklist, a clear sign they're doing it right. But life doesn't give signs first. Life gives feedback after you move. So what do you do with this? You stop asking, why am I not as successful as I should be? And you start asking a better question. What did school train me to depend on that life no longer provides? Then you rebuild. You build internal motivation, goals that matter even if nobody claps. You build tolerance for being average at first. You build habits that don't require inspiration. You build a self-image that can survive failure. Because the truth is, you weren't smart in school but stuck in life. You were smart in a structured world. Now you're in an unstructured world. And the next level of intelligence isn't knowing more. It's becoming the kind of person who can move without certainty. So if this hit a little too close, good. That means you're aware. And self-awareness is where everything changes.